The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/thearena_podcast.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast, episode 75. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burly and Gaming on Twitch, and Turn-Based Carl. How you guys doing, man?
Good,
Carl?
good.
Yeah?
Well,
Good?
I got some good sleep. I feel good. Played a little video games last night. I feel good about that.
Nice. Burly, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I slept good. Did not play video games last night. It's hard being away from Horizon right now, but I know if I was near it, I would play it.
Yeah, just want to say, so Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, a.k.a. Mr. Canada, and his new a.k.a. Mr. Streamloots. Yes, as you can see from his shirt there for you video viewers later on. Yes, he's got his Streamloots, yes, and all with him. So all of the loot. Yes. So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, and I'll just say a quick little thing. Join their Discord. I didn't get this for like doing a quota or anything like that. It's all just chatting and interacting in their Discord. You level up.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten an Amazon gift card that I've used to pay for things. I've gotten a sticker, socks, and the shirt, and soon I'm close to getting to the hoodie level. The shirt is very comfortable.
Nice. All right.
So, Burly,
I
I have a question.
Yeah.
Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say being away from it for the weekend is like, you know, you just got like, you had a new girlfriend that you met recently and things are going well and like you can't see her for a weekend and you get that feeling. It's just like, oh, that's all I want to do. See this person.
Yes, that's the perfect analogy for this.
All right. Okay. So we got a big lineup tonight. We're going to be talking about, of course, Horizon, of course. We're going to be talking about Elden Ring. We're going to be talking about that. Call of Duty, it seems like it's going to skip one particular year. We're going to be talking about that, as well as the new game releases. What's that, Carl? Sorry.
I was applauding and saying that'll be a good year.
Okay. Save it for when we talk about the story. Okay. The topic of the show, we're going to be talking about VR. Obviously, the PlayStation VR2 headset was shown this past week for the first time. So we're going to be talking a little bit about VR and some of the challenges to VR moving forward. Talk about that as well as the new game releases for the week of February 28th through March 6th. And, of course, Xbox Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus for March. We're going to talk about that and Game Pass for March. So we're going to talk about that as well as the games that we've been talking about right after we get to where you can find the podcast. So here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they've been playing, this episode of The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, and the post-show, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after recording. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry Tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode and post-show in audio and video formats, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services. Weekly on Wednesdays for the post-show, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, Spotify, Amazon Music, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called the Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at the Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys, I'll start. Horizon Forbidden West. I'm chugging along through the story. It's still amazing. It's great. Carl, you were asking us last week, Burly and I, whether we've fought humans yet in the game. Yes, we have. I think Burly and I are about at the same point in the game. And yes, I think I can vouch for Burly on this. We have encountered and had some combat with many humans now, as well as with machines. And I'll just mention my favorite weapon. What's that?
The human combat, is that better than the first game?
No. To me, no.
It's a bit better. It's not like a huge improvement, but they are a little bit better.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because from the tribe that they belong to, they're more warrior-like. So, yeah, I mean, in that sense, they're more ferocious and they bring more intensity to the battle. But, I mean, mechanically, to me, it feels the same as Horizon Zero Dawn when you were fighting humans in that game as well. But my favorite weapon of choice right now is the arrows with the acid on them that corrode the body armor of the robot monsters that you're fighting in the game. It's really cool. I love to use that. So, yeah. So, but anyway, I'm really enjoying it. How about you, Burly?
I'm really enjoying it. That's the game I've put the most time into for the last bit. But I'm also started up a Life is Strange, True Colors. I'm enjoying that. I'm almost done the first episode.
Okay. Yeah, that's the episode where she goes to that small town. Yeah.
Yep.
So and meets her brother, right? Yeah.
Yep. Meets her brother, and then
this long pause for, man. What's going on?
Well, I just don't want to say too much without spoiling the story. She meets her brother. Some wacky stuff happens, and there's that whole fun sequence when you're in the record store and you got to get the cat moved, and you may see appearances from other characters from past Life is Strange games.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think I'm spoiling the game just to say, I mean, everybody's going to, see that. I mean, at the beginning. So how about you, Carl? What have you been playing, man?
I'm still playing Edge of Eternity.
Cool.
And,
how is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bugs, and if I had to score it somewhere right now, it's probably going to sit at around a 7. Because and I wish I could give it an 8 because I really do appreciate a lot of the things it does, but there's little bugs here and there that add up, and I'm like the experience is just pulled down just a little bit. Every time you have this weird UI bug or some graphical glitch or the sound cuts out somewhere for some reason. I'm like, it's very indie. It's imagine if Square Enix made Final Fantasy X, but it was an indie production, I guess more like Final Fantasy VII or something, because it is more grand. There's big open areas. It's cool. It's doing a lot of things that you want in these type of games. There's an overworld map, right? And the maps kind of suck too, by the way. The map's not that great. Yeah. But it works. It does its job, but it's kind of annoying. It's not great. But the areas are nice. They're large. There's lots of things. There's lots of detail. It feels like it's a real world. You encounter lots of different things there. Sometimes it feels a little too big at times, you're kind of running through too much space. So I don't know. Maybe they could maybe a little bit pare it back, but there's always things to grab, resources, and there's enemies, and it's just things, It's not like there's nothing to do, so I don't mind it too much.
I'll say.
Story elements are good. I enjoy it. I enjoy some of the characters. Like your main characters are good. They do interesting things in battles that like things that I've always wanted in a type of game like this, where the battlefield has a factor, right? Like, so it seems like a standard turn-based thing, but there's a grid system also on top of that layer. It's like what I never expected is usually when there's a grid system, like one space per character, usually, right? It's kind of the common thing. Yeah. But no, like you have your hex grids, and you can have, I think, 3 or 4 maybe people or creatures on one specific space if you want, and you can just kind of battle back and forth, but you can maneuver around, and you can do like a backstab attack, or you can even throw effects on the ground. So like a firebomb item or a spell might leave flames in that space, and you got to get out of that space. You're going to keep taking damage. There's things on the battlefield depending on where you start a battle that actually whatever you see on the ground, whatever's around you, that's where you battle. And there might be a crystal, and if you're near it, it could either you get healed every turn because you're next to it, or it hits you with lightning damage, or it like affects spells you do, or there's turrets and you can activate a turret and shoot some enemies and do some big damage. They're doing really cool stuff. I really like what they're doing. I just wish. I think it's definitely their first like major project. So I give them a little credit for like give them a little break. And I feel like if they make another game and it's great, if they make a sequel and it's like a higher level of production, like this game going back and like remaking or remastering like would probably be like really awesome.
How big of a studio is that's created Edge of Eternity?
Couldn't tell you, man. I don't
Probably
know. I don't think they're very
smaller
big.
studio, right? I would assume. But
yeah, I don't think they're very big.
I'm just starting to look it up.
Find that out. Yeah, right. Midgar Studio.
Midgar Studio.
Yeah.
Well, while you're looking, Burly, I have a question for you about Forbidden West. Have you encountered any bugs that have crashed the game, or have been bugs that you had to restart the game or anything like that? I have not.
I've had one where it was in mid cutscene, but this was before that patch just came out, and it kicked me out of the cutscene, and I just loaded out and load back in.
I see.
I
have not experienced anything like that yet. So
if you go on their website and you look at Meet the Team, there's 8 people they show. Wow. So I don't know if that's the whole team. It maybe is. I gather they're a very small team. And
let's just say it's a small studio.
if it's just these 8 guys, then hell yeah, man, these guys are incredible for what they've achieved.
Yeah,
I'd say, because
this of equivalent to Ember Lab maybe with Kana Bridge of Spirits. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean that game obviously, like visually speaking, is more impressive. Although there's beautiful stuff in this game. It's just like not every aspect of it is beautiful, and the scope is so much bigger than something like what do you call it, Kana. So you got to understand. Like, I don't. They achieved it. It's a full game. You can play it. It works. You will battle a few bugs here and there, but like you can get through them. It's none of them are like breaking the game, except for one that they fixed already. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys, let's get to the topics of the week. Of course, our weekly news beat. So obviously, we got the first look at the headset for the PlayStation VR2. So I want to get your guys' take on it. I mean, we had, I think Burly and I, during the morning show when we were, showing the pictures of it, one of our viewers in chat said it looked really like the Oculus Quest 2. So it looked very similar to that in a sense. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What's your assessment of what you saw of this PSVR2 headset that's coming possibly this holiday season? We don't know yet, but what do you think?
Yeah. Burly, you want to go ahead? I was just talking a bit.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know if you're jumping first or me. Yeah, it does. You can't deny it. If you look at the Oculus Quest 2 and you look at PSVR 2, they look very similar. But they're all VR. They're both VR headsets. They're both painted white, so there is no like you can only. It's going to be similar looking. The thing looks fine to me. We had already seen the controllers. I think what was it? Did we get them January? Did we get we get the controllers January because of CES?
Yeah, at CES, we got the reveal of the controllers. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've seen this, but we haven't seen, because we got that same time we got the controllers, we got that little text sheet that that Sony put out saying this and that, but we haven't seen, they haven't really said, hey, are we going to need a module to plug this into your PS5? Like, am I going to need, like, because for PSVR you needed that big thing that was almost the size of a PS4, and I only know it's almost as big as a PS4 as they had it in Astrobot on the PS5, and you can see them. I think they have them right beside each other.
Yeah, well, on the list where it compares, like, the PSVR, PSVR2, Oculus Quest 2, and the Valve Index, it says additional hardware acquired for PS5. Yes, there is additional hardware acquired. So I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of brick again that you're going to have to plug in, and then that plugs into the PS5.
Yeah, it's like how big is that thing going to be? Because the PS5, by no means,
it better not be
small.
bigger. It better.
Well, if it's about, no, I'm saying if it's about the size of a PS5, it's the same. Because that thing, I love my PS5. Don't get me wrong, but that thing's bulky and big.
Yeah,
it's a big boy.
Yeah. And then, of course, it's going to be an OLED display, just like the PSVR. But Oculus and Valve have LCD displays. I don't know, but
I think Oculus is going pretty like mid-range VR headset. If I'm remembering, the Valve Index is quite expensive, so that's your high PC master race kind of thing where you're shelling out big bucks on that.
Yeah,
if I'm remembering correctly on that.
Right. Carl, what's your take on the looks of it and all?
I mean, like they whitewashed it. I mean, God, how dare they?
Just like they whitewashed the PS5 in the beginning, with the white, white.
So wrong.
Yeah.
Why are they so, no. It looks fine. It looks, I mean, I saw the picture and I'm like, okay, it looks like PSVR. It didn't really look different. There's like, slight differences. It's sleeker. It's got the camera things instead.
And they said it's going to have a vent too, so you won't sweat so much when you have that thing on your head. So
yeah, I don't know what the vent, like how does that work?
It's a little
it circulates air, I guess. So
or is it to vent its own processing? Does it even have? I don't know if it has that. I think it's
no. It's not actually a vent. It's one of those little fans, like 10 nanometers or whatever. Blows a little cold air on your face.
Whatever. It looks like a vent, but anyway. So
yeah, I mean. What it looks like to me doesn't matter. These VR sets, like they're all you're gonna look like a weirdo anyway wearing any of these. So who cares, right? Like the specs are what matter, and the specs look good. So that's really the thing here.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're gonna look like a weirdo. Okay.
Yeah.
You've just slighted all the VR lovers out there, Carl, calling them weirdos. Anyway,
wow. I didn't say they're going to be a weirdo. Okay.
Well, let's save that for the topic of the show, because we're going to be talking about the challenges of VR moving forward. And so, maybe people are going to be called weirdos for wearing VR headsets in the future. Who knows? We'll talk about that. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. Call of Duty. So there's not going to be a Call of Duty in 2023. So, it looks like, This is going to be the first time since 2004 that the series has not had an annual release. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Call of Duty franchise debuted on Windows PC in 2003. So, yeah. But it kind of seems like this decision, I don't know. Do you think maybe the Microsoft acquisition had a little bit to do with this? The fact that they're going to suspend coming out with the Call of Duty next year and then start up again in 2024? What do you guys think? Carl, I'll start with you because I know you probably have some things to say about this.
Yeah, I think you could say that. I don't know that that's true. It's hard to imagine, but you got to think that there is some impact on the way that they think now. They're like, okay, well, we're going to be acquired. We don't necessarily have to appease our shareholders anymore, right?
Yeah.
We don't just do whatever they say or just make sure they're happy, make sure we make a profit every year, a huge profit, right? Because it's going to be different, going forward. I don't know. I mean, obviously, Microsoft doesn't have any influence on this at this point because they haven't, closed that deal yet.
Yeah.
But it definitely would change mentalities, in the boardrooms, the executives. Even Bobby Kotick, you might think that he's just sort of checked out at this point, right? And there's someone in there who's like, look, we've always wanted to delay one of these because they've been, dropping in quality, and, they're like, can we do it this time? And Kotick's like, I don't give a crap, just whatever.
He's got his golden parachute.
Who cares?
He's got his golden parachute anyway. So.
Like,
He's got a 7 yachts.
Yeah, so like there might be some different change in the way people are thinking, and this is a good thing, absolutely, because people didn't like Vanguard, and there's problems with it, and doing it, you're trying to have this cycle of making sure you release one of these every year has put so much pressure on the core team, and then drawn in every one of their studios to become support for this franchise. And now they can, sit back, take some more time, and you're already going to see maybe one of these sports studios can start working on something else. Who knows?
Well, it's like you got 3 major studios, that are chugging out these games. You got Sledgehammer, you got Infinity Ward, and Treyarch. Yeah. So I mean, what's to say that Microsoft might just say, hey, once the deal does go through, it's like one of you guys start working on something else if you want, instead of always being on Call of Duty. Yeah.
I think that's a given. I think that's going to happen. And I think this is going to make it easier.
Yeah. Burly, what do you think, man?
We can't be sure if the Microsoft deal had anything to do with it, but I think it's mostly Vanguard got killed on some of the stuff, and it was a bad release, and players were not happy with it. So they're probably, as Carl said, they've been dropping in quality. Black Ops Cold War, I picked that one up, and that one I will defend. The quality on that was good. It was not. It was not a revolutionary title by no means, but it had some features with like the campaign that I liked, where you built a psychological profile and it gave you perks and stuff like that, so you could kind of choose your difficulty to an extra level and give yourself some enhancements and stuff like that, which I thought was neat. But Vanguard's been dropping, Call of Duty's been dropping because of the bad quality and all this in the yearly release, so it's probably also just like, okay, Vanguard didn't sell as well as we wanted to, didn't make as much. We can't get the buzz with Vanguard. We're going to have to put stuff into Warzone to keep the regular Call of Duty fan base happy. So should we put something out this year? If we put it out and it does not go well like we want it to, we're going to be in trouble. So why not just take the extra year and hopefully make a better product and have it come out? I think there's a good thing of it to have is just saying they know soon enough Microsoft will be taking over. They don't have to listen to the shareholders. Kotick will the sun's rising on Kotick's going to soon be gone. So they're like, we don't have to worry about that.
Burly. You mean the sun's setting? The sun's not rising. It's setting.
Yeah. Setting. Yeah.
That's what you meant to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But you know what I meant. Like, Kotick's soon gone. And I think they're probably realizing, because they keep every year, they keep like, oh, massive profits, but they're laying off a ton of people. Soon enough, they're going to have to start laying off the people at, like, you know, Treyarch, Infinity War and stuff, Raven and all those studios. And it's like, those are their money makers. They're like, do we want to potentially release a game and then have to lay off 800 people? But if that's in our core divisions where we're making the money, shit, is it worth it?
Yeah. You know, when we talked about the top selling games of the year for last year, you know, Vanguard was one, but was it Black Ops, like Cold War or Modern Warfare? What was it? One? The previous year
Black Ops
game
Cold War
was like number, right? Whatever it was number 2, right? Mm-hmm. And back then I said, look, what does it matter if you skip a year? If your previous year game is the number 2 selling game of the year. And clearly they saw that too. And they're like, look, if we make a better game, right? If we take more time, make a better game, what is it like? You can still have great sales throughout the year. They're not going to, obviously you're going to take a hit. You're not going to make as much, but for the brand, it does something more. And, you know, Call of Duty used to be a trendsetter. If you think about it, like they used to set the bar for like what FPS games were at a time. This was a long time ago. Now it just seems they just follow whatever trends are out there, and they're just kind of trending them out. And like, you know, I think what was it, Advanced Warfare, which is the one where people were like, "What the hell is this crap?" It's like, were you just trying to copy Titanfall or something? You know, like,
oh yeah,
it was just trying to.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one that had Kevin Spacey in it too, right? Advanced Warfare, I think it was.
Like they're just trying to, but they're just, it's like they just seem to like throw in whatever is popular instead of like being the guys who are setting what the next cool thing is in an FPS game. So maybe we can see more of that. You have more time to spend on the design and development. That's huge.
Yeah. All right. Next up, there was a game that came out this week. It was preordained as Game of the Year, and it was pretty much labeled the game of the generation, maybe the greatest game ever made. So the game I'm talking about, obviously, is Elden Ring. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. But just getting 10s across the board. And these people that are doing the reviews on this game only had like a week to review this game, you know, and I don't know, just all of the hype for, you know, these Souls titles, you know, I don't know. I'm going to throw it at you guys. I mean, how do you feel about these reviews, and how do you feel about the fact that a lot of people out there have already pretty much spoiled the rest of the year for, you know, the fun speculation there is for, you know, the Game of the Year watch and what games could be in consideration. And hey, you know, we love to speculate. Well, from what's been going on this past week, it's like, you know, it's already been decided. It's a given now that Elden Ring is going to be Game of the Year. So, for me personally, the rest of this year has been completely spoiled when it comes to the fun of speculating what the Game of the Year could be, because there's like 3 or 4 or 5 exciting games out there that, you know, could possibly win it. Well, from what everybody's saying out there, it's like it's already determined, you know, it's been preordained as Game of the Year. But that's another thing. Anyway, the reviews. I mean, how do you guys feel about all this stuff?
Who wants to start?
I'll take the start on this one. I don't like this whole review thing, but some controversy has now come out. Because yesterday articles were starting to get posted of the performance issues and FPS issues, and it's not just PC, because I saw people say, "Oh, it's only PC and it depends on your rig," and there were people that had awesome rigs that can easily run the game that are having the issues, but it's also happening on
it's the
PlayStation.
frame rate issues, right, Burley? Frame rate.
Yeah, frame rate drops and stuff like that on and it's happening on PS5, PS4, the Xbox Series, and the Xbox One. I actually have
And
the little
Bandai
Elden Ring.
Namco has been. I was going to say, Burley, sorry to interrupt, but Bandai Namco has, issued an apology for the frame rate drops. Yeah. So.
And people have said, even with the day, if you delete the day one patch and try to play, you still have the issues. So the patch didn't fix anything. And this just shows me how much shills all these reviews. You can't trust these gaming journalists and all this, their reviews, because they all come out and do all this stuff when it's these big titles. Remember Cyberpunk? How many of them gave it 8s through 10s? And then came out like a week later, oh yeah, there's some performance issues. You could run into an odd glitch here and there, and then you looked at how many people actually had the bugs, and it was like, excuse me? This is why I can't trust any of these journalists and all this. This is why I go to content creators that I can trust that will show and say, hey, here's what the hell, what I'm playing here, why am I getting frame rate drops here?
Yeah. This may surprise you. You may see on Twitter, I make comments. I've been making some jokes.
I may see them, Carl, once in a great while.
I've been poking at the what's going on with this game, right? But I would have to say that, like, I don't think it's as big a deal as people are making it out to be, as it is right now, because if you think about it, I don't think a lot of people would really even be talking or caring about these frame rate issues if you didn't have your digital foundries and people out there who are like counting frames, telling you exactly what's going on, right? Not that you aren't seeing it when you're playing it. I'm sure some people are, but I see a lot of people who are out there saying, like, I really don't notice it, or they do and they don't really care. And there's a difference between what happened with Cyberpunk and what's happening with this, because Cyberpunk was like, we all played it on PC and maybe we had some issues and bugs we saw, but the game we loved and we kind of looked over those. And then when you saw the other versions, they were like, oh, this is a complete trash dumpster fire. And we should have maybe, thought about that and waited to see, but they took, they assumed that was going to be fine. Whereas here it's more like, all right, yeah, there's performance issues, right? Clearly. But I think the majority of these people who reviewed it and played it, and you said they only had for a week, but I tell you, these people love this so much that they put like 60, 70 hours in a week. So they put in the work, even if they didn't beat the game. I don't think that matters.
I'm sure they probably didn't beat the game. They couldn't.
Yeah. If you put that much time into a game, you can review it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And I think that majority of them just loved what they were playing, and the experience is great. And these performance issues are not that big of a deal to them, and to most people who are going to play this game. And maybe, if there were more bugs, like really significant bugs, like Cyberpunk, which I don't think there are in this game, might be some, but I don't think that's the case. Then I would think it'd be more fair to argue with like what the reviewers are doing and saying. But these type of games, like, people love them. The people who play them love them. And I did not think that it wouldn't score well. Did it score better than I expected? Maybe. But I look at the game and I see what people are saying about it, and I'm like, maybe it is that good. I kind of want to play it now. So.
Yeah, well, I think the majority of the players that are playing it, that are loving it, love Souls games. Yeah, and they're the majority of the people that reviewed these games were Souls players.
I mean, to a certain extent, you got people, the reviewers you're putting, and that's what you want to do, right? When you put a reviewer on the game, you want someone who has experience in the genre. You don't want to give it to someone who doesn't, maybe there is a bit of a bias. The type of people who are into this genre might give this game a better review, but it's probably the best example, as everyone keeps saying, of this genre, right? Yeah. Everyone keeps saying it's the best Souls game. And if it's the best Souls game, then it's a 10, right? Because most of those games get 9s. So I can't really argue. And is it game of the year already and they're anointing it? That's annoying. That kind of sucks. But like, well, I guess we'll see where people think about it like a month or two down the road, how people feel. That might change things. Right. But if it is game of the year, and it is what it is. When game of the year comes out in February, this is what's going to happen, right? You can't really.
Well, the game of the year is
it.
decided by critics. It's not decided by gamers. So obviously the critics are going to have game of the year written all over this thing between now and December. So, yeah.
Now, don't forget one thing. Remember, it's not based on one critic, right?
No.
It's based on a publication. So if let's say just IGN for the example, I like to use them because they're a big organization. They have a lot of people there. If there's 1-2 guys in that group who like love Souls games and like, yeah, this game is game of the year, but like Starfield comes out and more people there are like, no, actually we like this more, then they're going to give that game of the year, right? If more, it's just a matter of numbers. Like how many people at a publication think this is the best of the year?
Yeah. I don't want to speculate like the people there that work there, how many people like PlayStation more than Xbox or like Xbox more than PlayStation. But I would have to assume probably more people like PlayStation there. And obviously this game is going to sell hotcakes on PlayStation, obviously.
I mean, it's multi-plat, whatever.
It's multi-plat, but I mean, come on. Most Souls players, I mean, it's a Japanese-based game. From Software is a Japanese company that it's PlayStation, pretty much.
I mean, there's only 2 of their games that have been exclusive, right? There's Demon Souls and there's Bloodborne, but the Dark Souls franchise and now this, the majority of the franchise of what we think of a Souls game is multi-plat.
Yeah.
My thing is,
any other comments? Yeah.
I was gonna say you can't. They may tout it as game of the year, but look what won last year. It Takes Two, an indie style kind of game that came out of nowhere. You never know. Starfield could blow everyone away. You still have God of War Ragnarok. And you know what? There could be stuff coming for Horizon this year, and not everyone's finished it. Horizon may win. We don't know. I
Breath
don't
of the
like
Wild 2.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2. We don't know. And here's the thing. Elden Ring's new out, so they're going to pimp it and hype it up. But you can have a lot of people that are now playing it and Twitch streaming it and making content. We could find out later down the road that there's some other bugs, and then people call out reviewers. It's not a set in stone thing what's going to happen. But I do hear you that I don't like it when all the journalism at this point are basically like, this is game of the year, we're February, and kind of just on some of them are discounting what's coming, but some are like, well, this is kind of set the bar for game of the year. Let's see what's coming out later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're people, right? Like, I don't begrudge a person who happens to be a reviewer for publication playing a game, loving it so much and thinking that, this is game of the year. Because I don't believe that they're going to then at the end of the year be like, no, I said this was game of the year, so I have to abide by what I previously said. And I will, doesn't matter what else came out, I will not change my mind. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, we're sensationalizing. I think everyone's sensationalizing it. And the hype level for this game was through the roof. So I totally understand like what's going on right now. People are just reveling in the joy of like the game is what everyone expected it to be, despite some frame rate issues.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen a lot. Right? A lot of games don't meet the expectation. I think like Horizon Forbidden West, right? Not that it didn't it didn't really exceed expectation, right? I think that game is like kind of exactly what people expected, right? It's great. It's the first game. Maybe it's a little better. It's not anything like wildly better, right? I think people were like, Elden Ring is going to be the best Souls game ever. And then like it kind of is, according to what people say. So, it's hard to deny people's excitement for this game. I was more annoyed going into it when everyone's hyping the shit out of it, saying it's going to be the best thing ever, then now when people are like actually playing it and reviews are saying it is the best thing ever, and then I'm like, okay, this game is great and you love it. That's so much better than you saying this game is going to be the best thing ever and shut up, you can't, nothing else can be a contender, beforehand. So
yeah. Okay. Enough of that.
Last thing I want to say is I things I've read about this game, I actually want to play it now. And I'm not going to play it now. I don't know if I even have time, but I want to, I'll wait and it'll go down in price and they'll patch it and I'm sure it'll run much better. And, maybe I'll play it later in the year.
You guys know my feelings on this. And I mean, nothing against people that like Souls games. I mean, like Carl was saying, if you love the game, that's great. I mean, if you love those type of games, that's awesome. I mean, I'm happy for you that you enjoy those type of games. Just me personally, I hate those type of games. I just do not like them. I will not play it probably. I just do not like them. That's just me. That's my personal opinion. But I mean, for all of you out there that love Souls games and are really loving Elden Ring, I'm happy for you. And I'm, hoping that you continue to enjoy it. So, all right. So next up,
well, I was gonna say I'll
go ahead,
my
Burly. Go ahead. You have
true
one more
thoughts
thing
on
to
the
say.
game.
Yeah.
Like I do have a copy. I traded in games to get it to pay for it. That's what Resident Evil 8 was worth. Pretty much got me Elden Ring. Finally got rid of that that stain in my living room for Elden Ring. So I'll be trying it out tomorrow and streaming it. So I'll see how it is. Like I can only go so much from what I've seen, but like I have little Souls experience. I've only gone through Demon Souls and played a little Bloodborne, but
yeah. Okay, so let's get into our topic of the show. So we at the beginning of the show we talked about PSVR2, and we got to see the PSVR2's headset for the first time. But we're going to delve into the issue of VR and what we feel are the biggest challenges to VR as a gaming platform moving forward. What are some of the greatest challenges to it succeeding? There's a bunch of factors out there. I mean, I think one of the biggest ones and one of the most obvious ones is price. I think when the PSVR originally came out, it was like close to $500. I think it was about 500.
Yeah, I think the bundle was like 500. Maybe just the unit itself was $4.
Yeah,
it's hard to remember.
I think the bundle.
You got the Oculuses, the Valves, and all that as well. I mean, these things are very, very expensive. So for VR to really sell a lot better than they have, they're just going to have to come down in price at some point. That's, I think, one of the major challenges. Another challenge, obviously, is content. I mean, the types of content that they come out with. I mean, more experiences that are longer in scope, for example, instead of just a 30-minute experience. I mean, they're going to have to start coming out and figuring out how to make games that are, maybe 10 to 20 hour experiences for people to really want to delve into it more. Another major problem with VR moving forward is, and we heard about this from one of our viewers on the morning show, mobility issues for people that have problems with mobility. And then again, those that have, problems with their eyes, or, for example, get constant headaches from using a VR headset for a prolonged period of time. These manufacturers, they're going to have to figure out, how to make a headset that's not going to make someone queasy or sick. And then, of course, the ethical issues when it comes to VR. People with mental issues, or it could, create mental issues for people, when it comes to socialization and actually interacting with people in the real world rather than in the VR and the virtual world. I mean, you might get people that just get caught up in, the virtual world and not want to have anything to do or relate with the real world at all. So those are some issues that VR, has to address moving forward. What do you guys think? What do you guys think are some of the biggest challenges for VR moving forward so that it will, become a bigger medium in the gaming industry, in the gaming world? Carl, what do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is like, okay, VR. When you play a VR game, you're probably expecting high-end visuals, right? Because the expectation is, all right, I'm going into a virtual world. It should look really good. It should look kind of like the real world.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So when you have that expectation, then that means, all right, I need a powerful rig, which then means I have to be tethered to something.
Yeah.
And that's not great. Then you have the Oculus Quest, or as they now changed it to the Meta Quest, which that name sucks. That name is terrible. Apparently that is from what people say, is the best overall VR experience because it's a standalone unit. You just put it on, you play your game. You don't have to be tied to anything anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is that you can't achieve that level of visuals because it's a portable unit. So you're, either you're strapping a Switch to your face or you're strapping a Steam Deck to your face. But, you're going to get then if it's that high powered, you're going to get 2 hours or less, of gameplay. Yeah. And, maybe that's all you need for VR. Maybe that's okay. Right. But that's the thing is they need to make a standalone unit that can produce high-end visuals, and it needs to be able to run for a good amount of time, and it needs to not be really heavy. There's so many things, right? There's so many hardware issues. I think that I don't know that we're at the point yet where you can make a VR unit that's going to reach sort of mass appeal.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem then you have with your indexes and your PSVRs, they're not going to be able to sell enough software because not enough people are going to have it. And the people who have it are probably not going to play it that much because it's just, VR it's cool, but it's also kind of like a niche. It's a gimmick. A lot of the games, like you said, aren't long enough. They're not big enough experiences. Yeah. If you're a real gamer, if you're, you're a not hardcore, but at least someone who loves to play these long, lengthy type of games, you're probably not going to be satisfied with some of these smaller experiences.
Yeah.
And so your target audience might actually be the more casual gamer, but then you can't sell them $1,000 unit or a $500 PS5 that needs a $500 PSVR.
And then to factor in also, Carl, the development costs for making a longer experience of a game, say 10 or 20 hours. I mean, the costs would just go through the roof, I think, for most of the development companies that are also probably making regular games as well. So.
Right. And that's a good point. That's probably why a lot of them are smaller experiences because they just know that they can't put the money into it because they're not going to sell enough units or copies.
And that's why I'm, I'm kind of puzzled as to why Microsoft hasn't jumped into this medium. I mean, because they would have the cash flow, they would have the money to pump into this, but yeah, I guess they've seen how PlayStation has done with sales, and they probably just, decided that, this isn't a medium that we want to jump into right now. Obviously, before they were trying to get into the AR space, augmented reality. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll quick comment because Burly should give his word here just on the Microsoft thing. It's they looked into it and they saw that the numbers weren't there for what they're looking for, and they're too busy working on rebuilding the Xbox brand. So it's not for them.
Yeah, Burly, what do you think of this, man?
Well, for the Microsoft one, because I'll just get quickly for this, there is no point. Microsoft sees that. No, I don't mean to be mean to people that are VR lovers. VR you're at least 15 to 20 years before this is a kind of mainstream that people are going to want. The technology isn't there, so why invest? If I was Microsoft, even though they have so much money, Why invest?
Yeah.
Why get the groundwork going? You let other people get in the market there. You're trying to get everyone into Game Pass. Focus your stuff on the studios you're acquiring in Game Pass. Put your effort there. That's where it's more going to pay off for you. VR is 15 to 20 years out. If it starts really picking up, Microsoft has the cash to go start in there. But if it's not developing, if it's not moving right now, why put the resources? I know people that had the PSVR and they had the Skyrim VR, and the one person I knew that said, you know what, it was fun, but he's like, after like a half hour to an hour, a little over an hour max, you just drained from playing it. So it's like,
that's how I felt with Batman Arkham VR. Yeah, it was like an hour was really cool, but that was enough for me.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and like for me as a content creator, a VR, it'd be cool to, like, because I've played little VR stuff one time in a mall, but I can't make streaming content because it's like, what am I going to do? Okay, get all this streaming, take all the hassle to get this ready for maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Let's say I'm lucky, I can get out of it. And then I got to spend, probably a half hour tearing that down and all that. It's just like, so I can't easily make, fun streams with that. If I'm going to put in all that effort to set all this up and then just do shorter content for that, when I could have just, kept easily sat on my chair, played Horizon comfortably, and not have to do any special setup.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of the VR experience that I see is great is games that really utilize like the motion, right? And that type of thing is a bit more casual for the most part in general. I mean, that's the real reason why the Wii was successful. It reached a different market. Yeah. And that's again where I think like, the Oculus Quest, I'm still going to call it that, is probably the place to look to say like, this is the future of VR. Yeah. And your high-end units are just going to be something, I don't know. I think they're going to stay niche, but you have to have that standalone. So like PSVR2, I don't know how it succeeds. I don't know why Sony really wants to continue with it.
I would be really surprised if it sells as well as the first PSVR did.
I mean, it might sell as well, but that's not enough. Right. Even if it does.
Right.
And what is it going to cost? I can't imagine it being less than $500.
On our YouTube channel, the Arena Productions, I put a poll out. So $300, $400, $500, and it's split between $300 and $400 right now.
God, that's absurd. There's no way. There's no way. Sony would be taking a bath on that.
Believe me, it's probably going to be like $500.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is comparable. Dude, the thing is statistically comparable to like the Index, which is $1,000 unit. Now, the only thing is that there's piecemeal. So if you take out what do you call it? Sensors, right? Because the way it tracks motion is different. You can actually buy it piecemeal, and I think it's maybe like $750, right?
I think it's so $650 or something.
Yeah, so if you're going to drop that to a price where you're subsidizing it because your sales, you have your closed market, then you're still probably getting only to maybe $500. You're probably still not profiting. Yeah. It's like, I don't see how you can sell it for like significantly less than that unless they decide that, you know what, we don't care about the profits. We want to move this units of this, and we're just going to put it out there at like $450
just eating the
if
cost.
They can try. Because again, like we look at VR1, which I think $400 just for the headset. That didn't include the controllers.
Yeah.
Okay. So those controllers on this new one are much better, much more technology in them.
Yeah. The orbital ones.
Yeah. They're leagues beyond what those stupid little Move controllers were. That's like, PS3 era Move controllers that you were still using. If you got those only was for certain games, right? They used the light on the other controller.
Right. Well, a lot of people were also just using the DualShock controllers too. So.
Right, because it had the light bar.
Right.
That has to add to the cost of it because you have to bundle those in. So like, I can't see it being less than $5. And at that price, those are your enthusiasts only who are going to be buying that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well, not to mention, it's also like if you're spending that much, not any person I know that has PSVR or has any of these VR things, they never have that many games for it. They're not really buying the software either. They'll get the few that are packed in, and then they'll have like the 5, maybe 10 if you're really into VR titles that you're buying.
Yeah.
Like for
Burly
me,
and
I
I
have
were talking about. Go ahead,
I have
Burly.
a bunch of VR games because Sony gave them away for free.
Yeah. So
right, yeah.
Burly and I were talking about this PSVR 2, it's coming out. Probably the launch title is going to be the Horizon Call of the Mountain. That one that they showed at CES. But then they're probably going to announce that it's backwards compatible with all other VR titles from the first generation unit. I mean, it's got to be.
No.
Yeah,
Not gonna
they're going to have to do that, I think.
Carl's like, no.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All I can say on that one.
Yeah.
They
should.
What they need to do, the biggest thing they need to do is launch with Half-Life Alyx. You have to.
Yeah.
If you can't get that as a launch title, I think you're going to have problems.
Or launch
window. I remember you saying that before, yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody knows that's like the biggest, best, VR title out there. But very few people have really played it. So like you'll be bringing that to a much bigger audience.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
And from what I've heard from people that have played,
comes out. Hold on, Burly. I was just going to say, and then when Spider-Man 2 comes out, they'll have some DLC that'll be VR, where you can swing around New York again. So, go ahead, Burly.
I was going to say, from what I've heard from Alex, they're like, it plays fine on the other headsets, but the real experience of it is only on the Valve Index, because they have this special thing. So like Sony, since you are doing PSVR 2, you need to sit with Valve, get Alex, and you have to have it run well, not just that it runs on PSVR 2, runs well, because I'd like to try Alex, but apparently like a while ago, people had made a mod that you couldn't play it without having to do VR, and you can do it with either controller or mouse and keyboard. And I'm like, ooh, but I'm just waiting for the game to go on a Steam sale to pick it up at a budget-friendly price to do it.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, they need that game that is a full-fledged VR game, not an experience. And that's what Alex is. It's like this Horizon game, like I don't really expect it to be.
That's going to be an experience.
Yeah, right. I don't expect it to be a full-fledged game. Like that's going to feel like it's its own thing.
It'll
like
be
the Batman
2 hours at the most, probably.
Yeah. Right.
I said I
even
think
if
I
it's
said
longer,
like 4 hours.
Even if it's 4, like still, I feel like it's going to be like a 4-hour experience. It's not going to be like feel like its own unique product. Like it's like here's an extension of this, and you can do some different things in VR, but it's ultimately, not like it's not going to have like your full-fledged skill trees and your gear, and you're going to upgrade your gear, and I would love that. That's what it should have. I don't know. I'm not really expecting that. So they can beat my expectations pretty easily if they do a lot more than that.
How long of a game is Half-Life Alyx? I mean, is it like a 10+ hour game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could look up on how long it can be, but
okay, I was going to say, I was just about to look at it.
Because if you're saying it's a full-fledged game, it's probably over 10 hours.
Yeah, I mean, as far as your first-person shooter campaigns go, I think it's like your typical size. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
with a Y.
Yeah.
12 hours main story, 18 hours completionist.
Okay, yeah. So, something like that. Yeah. That would be perfect.
That's what I expect out of a first-person shooter.
Well, you know what? Maybe they'll do. They'll launch different versions of the headset. Witcher 3 VR, or Cyberpunk 27.
Cyberpunk VR. There you go, Burly. I was just about to say that. 20-hour Cyberpunk VR experience. There you go.
I mean, Cyberpunk would work in VR, you know? Yeah.
That would sell. That would sell like hotcakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, guys. So it's time to talk about the new game releases for the week of February 28th through March 6th. I'll go ahead and start. Carl, I know what yours is. Burly, Carl, you're going to be surprised what Burly's is. I already know what his is, but mine is what?
Oh, I said I have a guess, but yeah, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Okay. My pick of the week is Babylon's Fall. It's coming out on Thursday, March 3rd for PC, PS4, and PS5. So in Babylon's Fall, players become a group of warriors known as the Sentinels, bonded with special equipment called Gideon coffins, and throw themselves into an odyssey to overcome the Titanic Tower of Babylon. Yeah, within which sleeps a great legacy. In addition to weapons wielded in both hands, characters can use power of their Gideon coffin to equip 2 more, allowing the combinations of up to 4 weapons at once. So the capabilities of different equipment will also bring endless variation to the strategy that can be employed. The game's visuals are achieved using a newly developed, quote, brushwork style, end quote, to create a unique fantasy setting with a medieval oil painting aesthetic. So it looks pretty cool. So yeah, coming out on the 3rd of March for PC, PS4, and PS5.
I have to look that up. That's the platinum game that everyone's like, oh,
yeah.
This is
We shall see.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not on Xbox. Also, that's weird.
Yeah, maybe it will come at some point. So, Carl, what's your strategy game pick of the week?
Oh, it is the triangle strategy, the best type of strategy that you can have.
Okay, so let me throw this at you. Why did they call it triangle strategy?
Well, from what I played in the game, there's like this 3 different sort of tiered choice when you play the game.
Okay.
I'll read the description. Yep. Command a group of warriors as Serenoa, heir to the kingdom of Glenbrook, in a tangled plot where your decisions make all the difference. Key choices you make will bolster one of 3 convictions, and here it is: utility, morality, and liberty, which together make up Serenoa's worldview and influence how the story will unfold. When faced with truly momentous decisions, multiple characters will weigh in by casting their votes on the scales of conviction. In these moments, the allies and decisions you make can determine the fate of whole nations and the continent of Norzalia itself.
Liberty.
That's
me.
You going
liberty.
Straight liberty?
Liberty, baby. That's it.
No morality?
Screw morality. It's liberty. I want
utility,
my freedom.
I don't think utility is probably your thing. But yeah,
it's never been my thing, Carl. It's all about liberty, man.
Yeah, they gave you a taste of that in the demo. I don't know about the new demo, but the original demo gave you a taste of how that system worked. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool because when you get to you go through a situation and there's optional things you can do to learn more information or little tasks you can complete that help you convince the other people if you want to go a certain way. Because that's another thing is when you make this decision, you have a council and you have to convince them to go a certain way. And if you don't have certain information, you don't have a good argument, you can't convince certain people, and you might not be able to choose the actual way you want, the path you want.
Cool.
I've been heavily excited for this because it's the art style, it's the people, the team from Octopath Traveler,
right?
But they're making a turn-based tactics game like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of my favorites of all time.
And you can play the first 3 chapters early, right? And still be able to keep the save when the game releases, right?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah. In this new demo. And it comes out March 5th, which I didn't say. Friday. I will.
Mhm.
I will. Unfortunately, I will not be available on the weekend to play video games, so I will not be playing it right away. I'll have to wait till Monday. But
Don't
But you
know.
played some of it already, right? So yeah.
well, the original demo, I didn't start this demo. I'm just waiting. I don't need to
Okay.
jump into it yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burly, what's your pick?
Well, let's give Carl a chance to guess because he
Okay,
says, "Ooh,
Carl. Yeah. What do you think is Burly's pick of the week from our list? And you can find this list at releases.com. So yeah.
I mean, I thought that someone would bring this one up, so I thought if there isn't anything else good, he would say Gran Turismo 7.
Burly.
Oh man.
Oh.
Well, since I'm bringing it up, I'm just going to point it out. Gran Turismo 7 comes out March 4th. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. You know what it is. I think it's important enough to mention here.
Mhm.
Alrighty."
Burly,
so
what's your pick of the week?
my pick of the week is a musical story. It's coming out Wednesday, March 2nd for PlayStation, PC, and Xbox One and Series, and then March 3rd for the Switch. I don't know why two different release dates. A musical story is a rhythm game set against the 70s backdrop. Explore the memories of Gabriel, a young man trying to come to terms with his situation through the connection to his musical memory. I don't mind rhythm games. I'm not the greatest at them, but 70s era music.
There you go, man.
Got the good old vinyl,
Yes.
Boston, the first album.
Good old Boston, man. Yeah. Love them.
Probably one of my favorite debut albums of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a classic. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So those are our picks of the week for February 28th through March 6th. So now it's time to talk about the PlayStation Plus and Xbox games with Gold and Game Pass games for March. Burly, take it away, man. What are we getting for PlayStation in March?
We're getting 4 titles. I have to say titles because you're getting for the big PS5
smiling there.
Titles.
I knew because I knew Carl was gonna smile when I said it that way. So for your big PS5 exclusive, you're getting Ghost Runner. That's something I've wanted to try, and it's nice. I don't have to spend extra money out of my pocket, so that's nice.
Yeah.
For you PS4 owners, you're getting Ark Survival. I've heard mixed things, but hey, I have a way to try it. And I hear it's an easy platinum, so that'll, for you trophy hunters and people that suffer from the addiction that I do, you've got a game that'll help you. Team Sonic Racing, which I did try through PlayStation Now. It is not that good. Yeah. I've heard Transform, the one that came before it, was really good. But hey, if you want a little racing game to try, get for free, here you go. There's a little team racing game for you. But also, what you're getting is Ghost Shima the Legends mode, which I'm a little surprised that they're just giving Legends away. Like it used to be you had to be you own Ghost Shima and you got this as a free update, and then I think it was Carl on the morning show who said to us you could get Legends if you didn't have Ghost Shima for $20. So they're giving you an extra little.
Yeah, they made it a standalone thing that you can buy now. Like, you don't have to. You can just buy Legends and not have the single player game.
Right.
Well, at least you get to play it. It is a fun multiplayer mode. I think I maybe put about 10 hours into that multiplayer mode. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you can get a buddy, because you can do 2 players how you do through the story, but you can do 4-player co-op for some of the stuff. It is a fun time.
Yeah. So, and Ghost Runner, I mean, if you like running against walls, kind of like, in some other games like Jedi Fallen Order, you can run across walls, things like that. I mean, if you like doing that and doing kind of like speed runs, that would be the game for you. So, and then Ark Survival Evolved, that's a huge game. So, I think on Xbox is like the download size of that on Game Pass is like 100 gig. So, good luck with that on PlayStation. So it's huge.
I like Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner got some good reviews.
Yeah.
It's got an 81 average on OpenCritic. And that's 110 reviews. So that's pretty good. I gotta say that is
Yeah.
significantly better than anything on this Games with Gold list.
And take it away, Carl. What are we getting for Games with Gold? Nice
You are
segue,
getting-
Carl. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
The Flame in the Flood, which I'm like, I don't. Do you want me
That's
to
a
read
nice
any of
indie
these
game.
descriptions?
Yeah.
Yeah, seems all right. The girl and her dog journey on foot and by raft through the backwaters of a forgotten post-societal America. Then you got Street Power Stalker.
Yeah.
And those are your Xbox One games. Then your 360 games, you have Sacred 2, Fallen Angel, and SpongeBob's Truth or Square. From which I looked up. I'm like, all right, let me just see. Maybe these games are like pretty good, and as far as review wise, but no one cares about them. No, not true at all. God, like Street Power Soccer has terrible reviews. The Sacred 2 is pretty poor, and SpongeBob also pretty poor. Flame and Flood is like decent, but like nothing amazing reviews. So, man, I mean, this is one of those things where like you look at these games with gold and you think like, why you even bother? Because can you, like, even if you're gonna get games that people aren't interested in, like, why don't you just go to like OpenCritic, Xbox, or Microsoft, and just like look at reviews first before you decide which of these games you're gonna put on there. Pick stuff that's actually like pretty good. That's good. That maybe people just don't care about or play.
Well, like
That's
a Ghost
fine.
Runner review score or something like that. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Well, Carl, their budget for gold is $10 a month. That's their budget. They got to find what 4 games they can get for $10. That doesn't look as bad. Oh, we got an indie title. We can get that for $1.50. SpongeBob.
yeah. I mean, you're putting 360
2.5.
games, right? Like they put, however many months ago, they put Code Veronica on there, and like that was awesome. And I played the whole freaking thing, and I was like, yeah, give me more of that. If you're giving me 360 games, there's huge library of like really good games that are probably that should be dirt cheap for you to get now. Like,
Yeah, but the good ones are all on Game Pass. Yeah. So.
I mean, but not this. But there's other opportunities. Yeah, I don't know. I like this thing is obviously going to go away, but at some point, I honestly really, really believe that once Spartacus is fully announced, they will maybe they have the plan.
They're going to
set
counter.
in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, their counter is going to be like, oh yeah, your PS Plus Essential is $10 a month for online, and what you've been previously getting, well, ours is 0.
Yeah.
Okay, our base is 0, and then we go 10, and then we go 15. Okay.
Yeah. And get rid of gold and just it's
So you're saying they're
we
waiting
shall
for
see.
Jin Sakai the ghost to come up and assassinate gold?
Yeah.
Yes.
Along with Kaito and Yagami. Yeah. So
Yes.
from Lost Judgment. Yeah. Okay, Carl. And what has been confirmed for March so far with Game Pass?
I think Tunic, right? I think Tunic's on Game Pass, and it's got a March release date. They didn't,
Changing Tides, I think, comes March 1st as well. So
okay, yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah,
I think Tunic was Game Pass. I want to make sure actually.
Yeah, because there have been some confirmed games for March already. So
yeah, I mean they haven't done a drop yet, so like there's no, we just might as well wait. They do 2 drops a month, so it's great for news,
Yeah. Well, what has been confirmed so far? Shredders for March 17th, a Memoir Blue for the 24th.
Right, Shredders was delayed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Crusader Kings 3.
Still gonna hit that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
March 29th. Yeah.
Was that delayed?
Finally get to try that game.
I think the console release was delayed. Yeah. Excellent game. Totally. That'd have been an awesome drop. It's already on Game Pass PC. So.
Yeah. And then one other one, Weird West, for the 31st.
Oh, Weird
of
West.
March.
That looks good. That's confirmed for Game Pass.
Well, it's confirmed for March 31st, from what it says. Where I'm.
It was
where
like
I'm looking.
I previously announced. Yeah, I know some games were announced like a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we'll. Yeah. We'll keep you up to date.
You don't have to stop.
We'll keep you up to date on the Game Pass games when more are confirmed and when they all are ready to be released. So we will go over those.
Can I give some thoughts on the Spartacus news?
Yeah, sure. For a minute or so. Yeah, go for it.
I just think I'll be brief. Okay, I look at these tiers
please.
and they showed, right. This is Jeff Grubb with his info, which is probably usually really good.
Yeah,
and to me it looks like you got $10 a month is just PS Plus, right? Nothing's changing.
Yeah.
Then you got $13 a month, which is PS Plus plus the downloadable side only of PS Now. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then you have that was extra, and then you have whatever it was, premier. I don't know.
Premium is the top,
right? Which is
tier.
then is going to be PS Plus PS Now,
which will be $16 a month.
Yeah, with some more classic stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and streaming, cloud streaming.
Right.
And then your game trials. Which I'm like, this does not really stand up to something great here. Because there's no word of, first party games, how that's going to play out. Doesn't need to be day one, but like, I think I need to know more about like what you're putting in that service. Like you did the PlayStation Classic, or no, what was the thing when PS5 came out? They had like the PS Plus,
Plus collection.
Right.
Yeah. Is collection included in this? I mean, I guess sort of by default, but like what's happening with that collection? It's just that happened. And then like, they've never added to it. They've never talked about it since, like the level of games in there is what I want to see in this service that you should get. Like it should just be there all the time. That level of games.
Yeah.
And this trial thing, I think people it's hilarious that people are like, this trial thing is super. On the PlayStation side, you see some people are like, this is a super cool, amazing idea. I'm like, no, you cannot tell me it's a cool idea to pay money per month to get demos. Okay, that's stupid. That's really stupid. Yeah. Maybe it's a little perk if you're already into the value of the service, but I don't think that's something you should be praising and paying for. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's my little rant there.
Yeah, no problem. We talked about this on the morning show. I think it was a couple of days ago, right, Burly? Yeah.
About two. I think it was on the I think it was on the Thursday morning show we did.
Right, and that from what Jeff Grubb is saying, it's probably going to be launching sometime next month. Yeah. So we shall see. We will keep you posted on that for sure. So
I hope Sony does the one thing that I've wanted Microsoft to do with Game Pass Ultimate. Allow me to buy a year subscription instead of buying like a couple three. Like if I want to buy a year up front, instead of making me buy 4 3-month cards, give me the option of just click the 1 year, because I hate doing month to month. I like paying all up front once, and then I know payment's done next year. This time next year, I have to do it. Pay again.
Why can't you buy for a year on Game Pass?
It doesn't give you Game Pass Ultimate. There's the 1 and 3 month options to go buy them. So I have to either go buy 4.
I guess you just gotta buy like 3 months.
Yeah, but that's just so stupid.
Yeah,
but it's just so stupid.
I guess
that's so stupid that you got to buy 4 3 months. Like
they're not offering you a discount. That's the thing on the year. That's why. Yeah. There's no reason.
That's fine. If you're not going to offer the year discount, fine. Like I can understand that they're a business, they want to make money. Okay. But give me the option to pay 1 year, because that's the thing. Like that's what drove me with like Netflix and stuff. It's like I hate doing month to month subscriptions. I like paying once up front, and then
I don't really do that
for the year.
Okay. All right. So that's we'll talk about that off show. So
it makes me wonder. Last thing I'll say is, will Spartacus not offer the year things too? Because PS Now is like dirt cheap if you buy it for a year, but if they're adding they're trying to make the service something different, they might not even offer that. So the price might actually go up on these things.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way.
Yeah. Okay, so just want to give some announcements about the podcast. Obviously, of course, Burly and I, we do the Arena multi-platform gaming news podcast morning show, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So come and check us out. So where we talk about the day's gaming news as well. So you can come and check that out. And of course, our Patreon. We got our Star Trek Warp Factor 10 show that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, as well as, of course, in March, we've got the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena coming back with episode reviews of Moon Knight. So we're going to be looking forward to that. And of course, our Star Wars Republic will be coming back in May for our weekly reviews of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So looking forward to that, bringing that all to you. So, where can people find us on social media? You can find me, of course, on Twitter at expat_gamer. And of course, my link tree at linktr.ee/expat_1 for all of my links to social media. So, Carl, where can people find you on social media, man?
Just at Turn-Based Carl on Twitter. You know, find me with my snarky Elden Ring comments. But then here, I'm actually nicer. So, you know.
Okay.
and support Ukraine.
Okay. And Burly, where can people find you on social media, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Burlyman Gaming. You'll find me just posting for my streams or me posting for other people's streams and just little stuff I'm doing with Stream Loots and for the podcast. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Burlyman Gaming. And if you want to make me suffer with some of my games and take my streams to the next level, check out my Stream Loots page at streamloots.com/Burlyman Gaming.
Cool. And for the games we're going to be playing,
Elden Ring.
We'll go into the post show. I got a little story.
Okay. So anyway, for the games that we'll be playing or streaming this upcoming week, obviously I'm going to be continuing the campaign for Horizon Forbidden West. Burly, I think you are as well, right?
It'll be Horizon, and I'm trying Elden Ring tomorrow, but it's most of my time is just going to be Horizon.
Cool. And Carl, I know you've got some family stuff to tend to next week, but in the amount of time that you're going to have to play any games this coming week, what are you going to play? A little bit of triangle strategy, maybe?
I'll continue to play Edge of Eternity, and then I'll play Triangle Strategy after that comes out next week.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So to end our show, our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is making a third appearance on the podcast, Macadamia. So Mac is a creator of all kinds, shapes, and sounds. So in Mac's music, you can hear little pieces that come together to form its own kind of music, from dark, twisted, warped synths and guitars to catchy melodic forms and structures. Mac's building his layers by mixing so many genres, like cold electronic sounds and glitch hop, warm acoustic elements from African grooves and rhythms, gospel, 60s, 70s music, and more. From his latest album titled Fire Loop, and the song is called Macadamia Remix. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 75. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burly of Burlyman Gaming on Twitch, a.k.a. the Streamloots Master, and our other co-host, Turn-Based Carl. So we hope to catch you all in the next one. So have a great week and take care, everyone. Peace out.